I'm real excited about it. It's my first solo project, and it seems like I've been waiting all my life for this. It's very, very exciting.
Well, when you first got with Journey, didn't feel like you'd been waiting all your life for that?
That was the beginning of a great thrill for sure. I mean, that started my whole life to where I was self-sufficient. I was taking care of myself. I was actually making money. I could survive. I could stop borrowing money to survive and live, and I could get off welfare and everything. I mean, I
Were you
was
really on welfare?
well. For a while there, I mean, I was on food stamps.
But weren't you engineering or something at the
Those jobs, they would come and go. But when I joined the band Journey, boy, that was great. We were on the road, and I was working real hard and enjoying it really an awful lot. But a group concept is a group concept, and it's a little frustrating sometimes for itself, but it's frustrating doing a solo album too sometimes creatively because you have a lot of. It's a double-edged sword. See?
Well, you have all the pressures on you when you do a solo album, don't you? I mean, it really, totally, the whole thing rides on you.
Yeah, they all look at you.
With Journey, you write the songs. I mean, you have a lot of input in a lot of the songs, and you sing the songs, and you're the focal point of the band now, it seems, on stage. It's not as if you don't have pressure on you, but with the solo work, it's like the whole thing is yours, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you produce it like I did, the whole thing is really sitting in your hands, so. But it was a challenge I wanted. It was a challenge I was ready for. Really was. I was looking forward to it very much.
Are you sick of Journey?
Not sick of Journey, no. I think Journey's been together a long time, and I think the guys, just like anything, you need a little break from each other, and that's what we're doing right now. The band everybody's doing their solo projects. We don't want to, continually see each other every day and meet for breakfast while we're off the road.
Are you surprised that when you joined Journey, it really started to take off so much? I mean, do you think of yourself as a catalyst in that way?
Well, I'm sure I had a lot to do with it. I had a voice, there was an identity there, and the band had a strong identity before, but there wasn't a vocal identity, really. Greg Raleigh was singing a lot, but he would sing some musical passages, and then they would go into heavy instrumental passages, They were high energy, though they were very strong and intense and exciting. But when the conscious effort by the group and management to become more song-oriented happened, they needed a voice to sing the tunes. More of a song-oriented kind of setup, concept.
Did you always think you were a great singer?
No, I don't think sometimes I'm very good at all. That's very funny. I enjoy listening to some of the things I've done. And some of them I don't like listening to.
What don't you like?
I can't tell you. I really don't think that would be fair.
What do you like?
Well, recently, the thing I like the most is everything I've done on a solo album. I'm really, because it's a more of a testimony of expression for me.
How do you think it differs from Journey music?
Well, it's sonically a little different. It's rhythmically a little different. Different rhythms, I think, that I've done with Journey. And I know the melodies are a little bit different. And the texture of the voice, I think, my voice now is a little bit different. And my tracks that I put together with the guys on my solo album is kind of like a tailor-fit suit. I mean, there's an area in the middle there where the voice can be a little bit deeper and tonal, and you can hear it. And on a Journey Records, that is not the sound of the band. The band is that sound that you hear. So there's a difference.
It sounds to me like there's a certain kind of more raw energy on this album than, say, a Journey album. But it's misleading in a way because the more you listen to it, the more things you hear in it. You know what I mean? It's like there are varied textures in it. Now, in recording it and in writing it and in singing it, did you feel liberated in some way?
Oh, yeah, sure. No, and no more than anybody else would when Neil's done his 2 solo albums and now his album with Sammy, and Smith has done his album, his second album, in fact, and I'm sure no more than Jonathan feels when he works with his wife. It is definitely a liberation, a freedom, an infectious freedom, maybe, that feels good,
Now, your single is already going up the charts.
Yeah.
And obviously, singers, I think, traditionally have more success with solo records. I mean, you know, if you look at Stevie Nicks or Phil Collins or even Christine McVie.
Well, there's a vocal signature there, I think, that, you know.
Obviously. I mean,
those people are great. I love those guys.
Well, what happens if the same situation occurs with you, you know, in terms of just pure commercial success? You have a really viable solo career now.
I'd like to do another solo album, that's for darn sure.
But you wouldn't leave Journey?
Well, I mean, we're doing another Journey album. I mean, we've been together for so long. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know how to look at that question. I think the band is at a place where it needs to make some changes for itself, some positive, strange changes, I think. And I think some of those will happen through a natural osmosis, I think, somehow, because everybody has gone and done their separate projects. And I think that whatever we have collectively learned and achieved and grown outside of the band, theoretically, when we get back together, should make a bit of a different group.
What would those changes be that you would like to see?
Who knows? And we'll have to see what happens when it gets back, you know.
Journey's been accused sometimes of being very kind of manipulative, you know, like everything is kind of planned. I think there have been some quotes from management about how Journey trains for things.
I don't know why that, you know, that's too bad. Management, you know, wants to take so much credit for being involved and it wants to be mentioned, okay? And I can understand how they feel out there. Hello? I think the dedication and pure drive of having a management that is strictly the band's management, one person, one driving force of people, staff and everything, to take care of a lot of the business, from the fan club to logistics of touring to booking to, or, you know, conversing with a record label. There's a lot of problems come up. You don't even know the problems that can happen with shipping, and sometimes the record is pressed a little bit odd. Well, just people have to be there to deal with that for you. And so whenever an interview is done on management, somehow it'll end up blown out of proportion, that it looks like, you know, this is the Monkees or something, you know, a fabricated thing, and you know, it's not really that way at all.
You don't sit down and at one point in your career and figured out like what would be a commercial sound or how?
No, you can't plan that stuff. You can't. No. The only thing that really, I mean, that's like saying that we're disco or something. Now that is planned assault, I think. A lot of that stuff was totally rhythm machines and a formula and just cranked it out like donuts. That's not what we do. We try to write melodies and songs, and I try to, you know, contribute my portion of that execution of the things, you know. I mean, I try to pull them off best I can.
In terms of Journey's huge success, why do you think it happened? What do you think it touches on in terms of the audience?
I don't know. I think if I could, I think other groups know it better than we do that are copying us.
Who are they?
Oh, no, not going to get me on that one. No, I can't mention, but I know there's some clones out there. There's a few things I've heard that are so similar to me. And in fact, when I was nominated for a Grammy with Kenny Loggins on a "Don't Fight It" song, instead of us winning in that category, there was a group that did win.
Who won? Well, I can easily find that out.
You'll find that out, and so that would be the guy that I think is really right there.